guys, and welcome back to Tech Tips. Today I want to talk just a little bit about retracts, and in particular mechanical retracts. There's plenty of times that I see that people struggle with retracts, and it really shouldn't be like that if you do the installations properly. I must say it's mostly with beginners that I see that people struggle with retracts. Okay, there's basically a couple of things that you need to know about the retracts. The retract has got an arm that pushes the leg in and out. This is the arm that you see there. And the arm has got two locking positions, one for the closed position and then one for the open position. Okay, now when it locks, you don't want to play on the retract like this. And a lot of the guys, they forget to set the lock for the retract. Okay, now there's two positions where you have to set the lock. The one is for the closed, as I said, and one for the open. Okay, as you can see on the closed position, I've also got play on my retract, and I don't want that. And then on the open position as well, you'll see that there's play. I don't want that. Okay, that's the first thing that you need to do when you install your retracts. Okay, and that's quite easy to do. You'll see that there's a small hole here in the back of the retract. That's where you set the open position lock. And what you do is you take a little hex driver, you slot it in there with your leg fully open, and you turn it in. Okay. And now the trick is not to turn it too far that it cannot open and close, because this arm on top there will not be able to open and close it properly. Okay, that's almost there. If you turn it in too much, but you don't want it to, when it's in open position, to move from side to side. Okay, it can go a little bit more. So just far enough so that it takes the play out. Okay, and the arm still needs to be able to open fully. You'll also see that if you turn it in too far, this section here won't stop right at the end. It might stop a little bit back, but it must stop at the end, and then no play on the side there. Okay, and the same goes for the open position. Or the up position rather. I don't want play in the up position. Now the screw for the up position is slightly more difficult to find. If I open it slightly there, you'll see there's the grub screw in there. So what you would do is just turn that in just a little bit. Okay, this one's turned out quite a bit. And when it's in the lock position, now it still needs to go in. And this you normally do before you do the servo installation and so forth. Okay. Okay, there she goes. Almost there, not quite. Let's just turn it a little bit more. There she goes. Okay, so my slide is completely towards the back, and I've got no movement on the leg. And the same with the open position. My slide is completely to the front, and I've got no play. Okay, if you've got it set like that, then your mechanical slide has been set properly. Once you've got your mechanical setup done in your retract, the next thing you will do is obviously install the servo and the servo horns and the rest of it. Okay, I normally suggest to the guys that they use the round servo horn like this, and then you can buy ball links for them and attach it onto the disc. Okay, now you need to attach it on the disc that if the disc should turn, that it can actually provide the full travel of the disc. Now I want to just quickly get a piece of paper and explain to you precisely what I mean by the travel on the servo. Your servo setup, you do exactly the same as you would do with the rest of your servos. Okay, so in other words, if you center your servo, your links needs to be on the 90-degree mark of your servo. Okay, the reason for that is the servo normally moves at an angle of 60 degrees. So if you don't put your ball directly on the 90-degree mark, what is going to happen is that the ball is going to move further away from the 60 degrees and less on the 60 degrees here. So what you will find is that when the servo opens, it closes properly, but it only opens to there. And as you can see, the leg doesn't open properly. Okay, so you need to install that so that the arm or the slider on your retract moves from fully closed to fully open. Okay, now you might need on some of the bigger retracts, and that is why the wheels are so big. You might need to put the ball quite far from the center, and that's also one of the reasons why retract servos are normally very, very strong. Okay, so to be able to handle that torque that you need, because you fit your ball further away from the servo. Okay, so as you can see in the little picture here, I've got my ball link over here, and then the arm moves to the servo. Normally this would be in the open position, and if it pushes it in, it'll go to the closed position. Okay, and that's basically the way you would go about installing servos. There are other tips and tricks. Normally these rods are made of a very solid bar, like a push rod, like what I have in my arm here, which is a solid push rod. But I have seen people do it with these. I call this a slinky. It's basically a plastic tube with a plastic push on the inside that you can form. You can form it, and it can still move in and out in the tube there. The only thing about this that you need to know is that as it goes around the corners, it needs to be very, very solidly supported, the outside tube, because if you get this type of movement, your retract will not open properly. So as I say, as I move it, it won't move in, it will just push the rod like this. So you need to support it so that the rod can actually go in and out. That's on the inside of it. Okay, so that is the basic setup for undercarriage or retractable undercarriage. You do get various types of undercarriage. I just wanted to very briefly talk about the mechanical retract. Until next time, guys, happy flying.
Take me up, baby.